All right, let's talk Duke Notre Dame. At BetMGM, Notre Dame is a 20.5 point favorite. This line dipped down a little bit and has come back up. I don't think it's crossed any key numbers, not that I saw. Over under 54.5. I know you fancy the under here. What do you see in this matchup?
Well, I think the number is pretty spot on for a Notre Dame team. I actually have it power related just a little bit less, but I mean, let's talk about why I like the under much more here. From both sides of the ball. Let's start with Duke. David Cutcliffe came out, didn't fire his offensive coordinator, just made the statement, I'm taking over play calling duties. I haven't called plays since 2007. I'm now the offensive coordinator. I'm the one that's going to be calling the plays. And after he said that, he said, I am going to have Duke football back to running the ball. Running the ball is Duke football, and we need to do that again to be a successful team. So that was something he said back in February. That's something he's maintained through the summer. So Cutcliffe is going to dust it off, whether he's great out of the gate or whether he's rusty at calling plays during the game. We don't know, but establishing the run is something I expect him to try to do, especially with Chase Bryce transferring in from Clemson. If you remember that name, that's the person that saved Clemson's perfect season. When Trevor Lawrence was knocked out right after Kelly Bryant decided to transfer. Quite the week there for Clemson. But Chase Bryce was the guy that saved the game. Duke only had 3 spring practices. So whatever it is that they were trying to establish with their new offensive play calling with Cutcliffe and with Chase Bryce, there just, wasn't a whole bunch of time to get prepared here. You're about to go up against an Irish defense under Clark Lee that continues to be one of the best in the nation by far. 28th in success rate last year. I'm surprised he's still a defensive coordinator. He is a future head coach, and Notre Dame's defense is going to be, he's a Mike Elko protege, and he's proven to be every bit as good as Mike Elko since he left and went to Texas A&M. So I expect, at least from Notre Dame's standpoint, to stop Duke and what they're trying to do and stifle them trying to run. Now, Chase Bryce is covered in transfers and new faces. Offensive line, I think, has 3 transfers in there. His weapons, every single weapon he has on the outside is a transfer that's come in. There is a lot of new faces, including himself, for David Cutcliffe to be calling the plays. So I think that's going to be a problem for Duke to score points. Let's flip it over to the Notre Dame side. Notre Dame also has a new offensive coordinator. Tommy Rees was responsible for calling the plays in the Camping World Bowl, in which they beat Iowa State and put 33 points up on the board. So Tommy Rees has now got to defend himself, but you should take note that in that box score, he had a heavier rush rate than what Notre Dame's rush rate was last year. It wasn't much, but he does favor the rush more than he does the pass. And consider the fact that Ian Book loses his top 3 targets. He lost 242 targets with 2 wide receivers and a tight end that have moved on. Chase Claypool, Komet. Not a single other wide receiver on this entire roster right now had more than 25 targets last year. I'm talking targets, not even catches, just targets alone. So Notre Dame has one of the best offensive lines in the nation, if not the best. Should be a heavy rush call. Ian Book has to get familiar with all these new targets that he has. Duke's going to try to establish the run going up against one of the best defenses in the nation. I think this game is under City.